Hey everyone, we'll be going through some questions from the midterm review materials, starting with question 4 from the Pokemon problem set. So when you're starting out with Python data science, it really helps to take a minute and to read through any code that is already provided. From the provided code here, we can see there are two lines. The first one here, line 1, Pokemon dot blah blah blah. Dot sort generation descending equals false. So is here using the table method table.sort to sort the table on the left side of the code here by the column generation. Table, a type of data in Berkeley's data science library, sorted by the column G. And for line 2, we can see there's something like numpy.diff and hpmean. Now that we've gone through both lines, let's work our way back from the second line to the first and see how it all fits together. So here's the key. Looking at the original Pokemon table, you can see columns like name, type, HP, attack, defense. But there's no column or any string value called hpmean, which suggests that the code is probably calculating something new that's not originally there. And in this case, it's an average. So here's a trick. In Berkeley's data science library, when we see terms like mean or sum being used as part of the string or the column name, like here, speed mean or speed sum, and they're not in the original table, it's a sign that the table method, table.group, was used in the previous line to categorize the data by a certain column, and maybe later perform some form of calculation, like taking the averages or totals. Here, we also need to know that if we check the reference sheet from Berkeley's Data 8 website, we'll see that numpy.diff is an array function that specifically works with array. And it's a numpy function that takes in an array or a list of numbers and returns the difference between each consecutive value. So for example, if we pass 2, 3, 5 in the function, it will return 1, 2. So we can see numpy.diff will calculate the differences between these elements. So here, because the question asks us to find the largest difference, so we want to put max in front of numpy.diff. We use max with numpy.diff to find the biggest change between consecutive elements. Let's use the previous example here. Max equal to. So here, if we use max, which is the built-in function from Python, and numpy.diff, which is the function from NumPy library, it will give us the largest jump between each element from an array or a list. Let's move back to line 1. I just want to mention again, here, whatever's on the left side of that sort, it has to be a table. Now, I know, especially with some people who have already learned Python previously, that sort can be used with different types of data. But for us in CSCI 8, in Berkeley's data science library, we've only used it as a table method. So let's just remember it that way. Whatever's being put here has to be evaluated as a table. So here, that's tied line 1 to what we discussed previously in line 2 about HP mean column. So since HP mean isn't in the original Pokemon table, we need to create it first, and that's what line 1 helps with. Here, we will be using group method to categorize the Pokemon by the column generation. So it's gonna be group, and then generation, and then we need to figure out the average HP for each generation, which will give us the new HP mean. In order to do that, we need to put the function np.mean here. And after that, the sort method is just organizing the table by generation from generation 1, 2, 3 to generation n. So basically, here, let's continue work on this. Let's continue work on line 2. Generation here. Since here, remember we said numpy.div is an array function, so we really have to pass an array into it. Here, what we can do is to use table method column to extract the column HP mean from the previous table called generation. So I guess that's it. And if we want to visualize what we are doing here, we can quickly come up with generation. This is what line 1 is doing. 1, 2, 3, and then the rest of the columns will be type mean, total mean, HP mean, attack mean, and then this would be a numerical value. And it's important to note that type mean here, since the original array here from the type column is a string. So here, after we use the group method, whatever will be aggregated later using the main function, it won't return anything. It will just be blank. So I hope this helps.